Hello everyone, welcome to the next session of Python programming. In this session, we are going to study a very new concept in Python, which is file handling. Now, file handling is a little bit trickier than the previous concept. It's more like the advanced concept since we are going to handle files within our Python program. So the concepts or the syntax are a little bit different than the uh, normal Python program, regular Python program, but these are simple if you pay attention to every detail and focus on the each and every file type and its functionalities. So file handling means file. In various applications, when we use the computer applications, we need files to store the data. Why we require file? Because not everything you can write down through the Python program itself directly. You need file. Suppose you are accessing the students data, some tables, some records. So for that you need that information to be stored in a particular storage or in a data structure. File is one of the data structure in which we store the data in form of text, right? So basically what we are doing here in the Python programming, we are accessing those files which are stored in your computer PC, and we are accessing that file through the Python program, and we can do changes. We can change the file, we can modify the file, we can create the new file, or else we can delete the file, like that. So these are the several functionalities we can perform using the Python program. So that is basically the file handling. In simple words, whenever you are accessing any application or any software, and if you want your personal file to be accessed and make changes to that file, so what you do, you just import that file from your computer system to that application. Application can be online, that application can be offline. You are just importing that file from your personal computer hard disk drive to that application to make change. So you are just importing, right? Here also we are importing the file which is already exist in our um, computer systems hard disk drive, and then we are making changes to it. So basically that is the file handling, and we are going to see how we can develop the Python program to handle such files. So in file handling concept, we will be working on the data files. Now basically there are two types of data files. First is the text file and second one is the binary file. So text file, first data file means the file in which we store the data, the textual data. The various applications are already there in our system which we use, such as Notepad, WordPad, and Microsoft Word, like that, in which we store the textual data. So that textual data is handled by the data file. In data file, there will be two types of data file. First is the text file, and second one is the binary file. So these two are the data files which we will use or to import or to take the data from the computer in our Python program to handle. So text file and binary file, you are already aware with the text file. The files which we create in the normal textual format, that is the English language or any other language in the alphanumeric characters, those are your text file. And binary files are the system files which are automatically generated, or those can be generated by user also. But if you want to open the binary file explicitly, you can't open it, and even if you open it, you can't understand the data in the binary file. You need to convert that data into normal text to read and to analyze. but in text file the data is in plain English language, which you can easily read, which you can easily write to the file. So basically these two are the data files which we will study in this session. First, we'll start with the text file, and the operations on the text file and binary files are the same, but the syntax is little bit different because we are dealing with two different types of files. So first we are going to see the text file, and then we will go ahead with the binary file. So the text file means in this file we store the data in the stream of characters. Anything in the plain English language that is stored in your text file. You open the notepad and you write down the sentences in English language, right? So those are your data in your text file. Now normally when we consider the text or data lines in the text file, that line has the end of the line character. That means one special character we use in all this file to mention that where the line, your sentence is going to end. So that character is the end of the line character, end of line. So this concept is EOL. This concept is very important. Why? Because when we analyze or when we read from the file, we need to know that till which position or pointer we are going to read the sentence in the line. So that matters when you consider the end of the line character. When we use these text file methods or functions in the Python programming, we use the one special character which is /n. /n is the new line character. That means whichever line we are going to write down, you need to mention, or Python by default automatically recognize this /n character. When you press enter, suppose this is text, this is text. So this is my normal line, right? This is my normal line, and after that when I am going to the new line, then I will press enter here. This enter is your new line character. That means you are mentioning that you are ending the first line here, and then you are going with the second line from the second position. So this is your /n, which is the new line character, and this new line character is very important in terms of the text file or handling file in the Python. So basically this is the text file, and in this application when we use the file handling in Python, we prefer the notepad only, because notepad provides the very simple way to convert the normal text into binary data, because at the end all the data in the computer system stores in a encrypted format. So this format is very suitable or very compatible with the notepad application. So we use or we store the files in the notepad itself, and then we access it from the computer system. Now when we consider the text file, there are normal or regular text file which I mentioned using the notepad. So there are regular text file. When you just open any notepad file and you write down the data in that file, and you save the file using .txt extension. .txt is the file extension for the notepad file. So to store anything, to save any file in .txt format, first you need to open the notepad file, then write down some content into that file, and then just save in particular location wherever is compatible to you with the extension of .txt. That means you are saving that file into normal text format. That is your regular text file. Then second one is the delimited text file. Now here also delimited text file, that means you are mentioning the delimiter. which is also character, same as your new line character. So you are actually specifying where you are using that delimiter to inform that where your line is going to end. So this delimited text file means either you are mentioning the separation of words in particular sentence and the new line character. When you consider the regular text file, the by default character between two words in one line is the space, blank space, or we can call it as a white space. So you can know that which words are there, right, by recognizing the space between two words. So in the regular text file we are separating the words in the line using white space by default. In a delimited text file we use one special character to separate those words, right. Here there are two subtypes of delimited text file. First is the tab separated file, text file or format, and here comma separated values. Comma separated values. So tab separated instead of file we can mention the values because those words which we are using, those words are actually values, right. So for delimited text file you have two subtypes, tab separated values and comma separated values. So for regular text file, if your sentence is this is simple text, suppose. So for comma separated, how you can write down the same sentence into tab separated or comma separated. For tab separated, your sentence will be this, and tab is mentioned with this arrow. One tab means 4 spaces, right. So that tab symbol or character is simple text. This is tab separated content in the TSV file. This is called as a TSV file. And comma separated values, these two words are separated by comma. So your sentence will be this is simple text. This is your comma separated values. That means all words are separated by comma. These are the special type of files in which when you are creating some log files, you are creating tables with some fields and attribute values, then you need to use the comma separated files. This may look as separated by comma, but we can consider it like a specific or special fields for all the values. So these two are the delimited text file. Now in this session or in this concept, we are going to learn the regular text file and comma separated text file and binary file, 3 types of file in Python. Now regular text file is saved with the .txt extension. Tab separated values file is saved as .tsv extension, and comma separated values is saved as .csv. So whenever you are going to create any CSV file in your computer system, just save that file in .csv format, so that CSV file will be generated automatically in your computer system. And same as binary file, you cannot open the CSV file directly. You need to open the CSV file and binary file in the Python program itself. Okay, so these are the 2 files and 1 binary file which we are going to learn in the further session. First we will see how the file handling works basically. So those common functions which we can use for all three types of file. First we are going to learn that, and then we are going to learn text file, binary file and CSV file one by one. So first we are going to see the file operations. For all three types of file, the operations are common. Okay, three operations are there. First is reading from the file. That means the file is there in your computer system and you are reading that file. What is meant by that? You are opening that file first in the Python program. First you open the file, then you read the file, and whichever content is there in the file, that content you can read and display in the Python application output window. That means you can read the content of the file. So first operation is reading, second operation is writing. That means open the file and write the content to the file. That content you will mention in the Python program. Whatever you want to write to the file, you will write down, you will write that content in the Python program first, and then you will write that in the file, so your file will be ready. So second operation is the writing, and third operation is appending. Appending means to append the content to the file. Appending is similar as writing. That means in the appending operation we are writing the content to the file again, but there is one difference between writing and appending. In writing we are writing the data from the first line. Okay, so if your file is blank, empty, you are writing the new content, and if you open the existing file with the existing content, the previous content will be removed and you are writing the new content in the writing. Okay, that means you are deleting the previous content and writing the new content. But appending function, when you want to keep the previous content as it is and you are just adding new content in the file, so that is appending. In both operation we are writing to the file, but here we are deleting the previous content, and here in appending we are keeping the previous content and we are writing the new content to the file. So basically these file operations we are going to see in all three types of file. Before that, first we will see how to open the file and how to close the file. Open the file, we use open function. Now open is the built-in function in Python to open any file. So as we have seen the open function to open any file, first we need to create one file object. What is the file object? File object is the variable like object which we create in the Python program to get access of any file, because you cannot open any file directly and you cannot read it, you cannot write to the file directly. First you need to create the medium to that file, right? That medium is our file object. File object also called as a file handle, which handles the file. Once we create the file object, then we can perform as many as operation by accessing that file object only. So to use this function or to open any file, first you need to create the file object. This file object name. This name is the user defined name, just like your variable name and function name. You can give any other name to the file object, like file1 or new file or data file. Like, just you need to be careful that it should not be a keyword, because if you are using the keyword just like variable and functions, then the error will be there. So first create the file object name, any name except keyword, equal to open function, this function, and within this parenthesis mention the file name which you need to open. So here open function, file name, this file name should be enclosed within single or double quote. So this file name. By default, if you open the file name like this, it will open in the read mode, means you can read the file. This is one syntax. The another syntax is you need to mention the mode. File object name is equal to open function. Here file name, comma, mode, any mode. This mode we are going to learn next. So file object name, the name that you are creating, the file object that you are creating is equal to, we are using the is equal to operator. Why? Because we are opening the file, and whichever content or access of file, we are going to give this access to the file object. And in the next instruction, we are going to use only file object name. We are not using the file name, because we have already placed the content of the file into file object. So this is the syntax for the open function. Now see the example of open function. What are the example? Suppose in my computer, one file named data1 is already there, and I want to open that file and I want to read from the file. So what will I do first? I will create the file object name. So file object, suppose I have created file object name as file1. File1, I have created this object, I have given the name. So file1 is equal to open function. In this, my name of the file is data1. So I will open the data1 file. Data1.txt. Don't forget the extension, it is very important. And the file name should be enclosed within single or double quote. So data1.txt, this I am going to open and store the access or content into file1 object. And in further instructions, we are using file1 only. We are not accessing the data1. We are using the file1 only. So data1.txt. Now you can just close the bracket, but by default this will be opened in the read mode. There are three modes: read, write and append. If you don't mention the mode, it will be opened in the read mode by default. But if you want to mention the mode specifically, then comma, mode will be also write down here in the enclosed within single or double quote. So data1.txt quote complete, comma, and in single or double quote R, W or A. This mode will be defined. So here I am stating that I am creating one file object or file handle as file1 equal to open function, then name of the file, which is the data1.txt, and then the mode of the opening of the file, which is read. Okay, so here I am opening the file. After opening this, I have all the access in file1. So in between or in the program, I will use the file1 to perform all the operations. Then after I am done with all the operations, I need to close this file. For that, you are going to use the close function, because after all the functions, you need to close that file and save that file properly. So how to close that file? It is very simple. You already have access of this file into file object, so you are going to use the file object only. So the syntax of close function is file object name dot operator. For close function we need to use the dot operator, and then close in all in small case letter, lowercase letter, and then close the file. So here my file object is file1, so I am going to close that file. So example is file1, your file object or file handle dot close function, file1 dot close, and then you are closing the file. So this is the very important and basic to for the file handling concept. First you are creating the file object or file handle, store the file access into the file object. With open function mention the file name, mode, and then just open the file, perform all the operations, and then just close the file. So these two operations are common for your text file, binary file, and CSV file, all three files. And the difference between those operations that we are going to see one by one in the further session. Before that, this mode, before starting our text file, we will see the mode first. This mode means in which mode you are opening the file. That is very important to mention. So first we will see that chart for text file and binary file. So the file access modes, that means how we are going to access the content of the file. We already discussed that there are three operations: reading, writing, and appending. So based on that only we are using the file access mode. In this the access modes for text file and CSV files are same. Binary file is little bit different, but the performance is same. So first file access mode in the text file is the read mode, and you need to mention the access mode in single or double quote. So read, R stands for read only. Thus meaning of this read mode is the read only. For text file we are writing as R, and for binary file we are using RB. R stands for read, B stands for binary, and the description is read only. So you can open the file and you can read the content of the file, but you cannot write the new content to the file. That is the read only. Second thing is, you need to be sure that whatever file you are accessing from the computer system, that file should exist already created and saved in the computer system. If the file is not there, then you cannot open the file for the reading purpose, and IO error will be raised. IO error means input output error will be raised. That means whatever file you are taking as an input for the program, that file does not exist in the computer system. So what you should do for that? First of all, make sure that whatever file you are using or you are accessing from the computer system, that file is already created. If that file is not created, then create the file first separately by opening the Notepad application, save it with the .txt extension, and then open it with the R mode, which is your read mode. So this is the rule if you want to access the file for reading purpose, which is using the R mode. The second mode is the write mode, W. For text file we are using W, small case. All these letters are in the lowercase form. So for writing, W, and for binary file is WB, and this is the write only. So for write only, you can write to the file. First you open the file using W mode, and then you can write any content to that file, but you cannot read that content. If the content already exists in the file, you cannot read the content, but you can write down any new content to the file. The difference between R and W, read mode and write mode, is if the file does not exist in the computer system and if you try to open with the read mode, you will have an error. But if the file does not exist in the computer system and if you try to open that file with W mode, then the file will be automatically created if it is not exist. That is difference. Here in the W mode, we don't get any exception or error. We can create the new file using W mode. So you don't have to worry if you want to open the file using W mode that the file should be exist or not. If it is not exist, it will automatically created, or it will be automatically created in the with the Python program. So this is W. Third one is the append, A, and for binary it's A, B. Here append only. Here also you can write to the file. If the file does not exist in the computer, then it will automatically create the new file. Append only. In this mode again we can write the content to the file, but the difference between write and only and append only is that with the write only you can write down the new content to the file. Every time you open the file, you can write down the new content and the previous content. If any previous content is there, then it will be erased completely and it will be replaced by the new content which you are writing using the W mode. But this won't happen with the append mode. In the append mode, the previous content will be as it is, it will be untouched, and you can just write down the new content after that. That means you are adding the content to the file, you are appending the content to the file. Here also you cannot read the file. Write only, append only, you cannot read the file, you can just write to the file. Now fourth one is the R plus. R plus means read and write. In binary file we can write down R plus B or RB plus. Both are the correct way. Either you can write R plus B or RB plus in the binary file. Here read and write. So when you want to read the content of the file as well as you want to write the new content to the file, then you are using the R plus mode in the text file and R plus B or RB plus in the binary file. That means first you can read the content of the file and then you can write down the new content to the file. Then fifth is the W plus. In binary, W plus B or WB plus. And here again write and read. Write and read. That means you can open the file, you can write down the new content to the file and then you will be read from the file. So when you want both operations to be done, then you are going with the W plus. And then the last sixth mode is the A plus, and in binary A plus B or AB plus. Here append and read. Append and read. That means you can append the content to the file and then you can read it. So these six are the file access modes in the file handling, and we can decide that whatever operation you need to perform, based on that You can just select any of the file access mode and you can use in the program. Now based on this, we'll see how we can use the file access mode first, and then we can start with our text file. Now we have already seen the example that how to use the file access mode in the open function. First of all, you need to create the file object. So I will take the file object is file1 equal to open function name, and then here I am going to mention the file name. So my file will be data1.txt. This file I am going to open. Now suppose I want to open the file and write the content to the file. So I am going with W mode. That means I am opening the file to write to the file, and then if the file does not exist in your computer, it will automatically create the data1.txt in that same folder with the W mode. And suppose if I am using the R mode here, if this file does not exist, it will raise an error. So you must create the file first and then open the file into R mode. And same A, if the file does not exist, it will create the new file. So here I am opening the data1.txt file. You can mention the full path of the file also, but only when the file is exist or saved outside your folder, that I will mention, or I will take the separate session on that. So what are the different types of path you can use to open the file, and then after that you can just perform the operations of the file and then just close the file by mentioning the file object file1 dot close. So you can close the file. And suppose here if you don't mention the mode, by default read mode will be used here. If you don't mention in the mode, by default Python consider the read mode, and again you need to make sure that this file should exist in the computer system. So for now we have seen the file access mode, how to open and close file. In the next session we start with the text file. First we will see how the text file operations are to be done and how to operate or how to perform all the operations in the text file. And don't miss the further next session, because those are very important if you want to learn all three types of file and its operation. So for now I'm concluding this session. Thank you.